after a few poor outings, I mean, how nice was it to see this from Boyd?
And I wouldn't say poor. I mean, he still was holding us in there, but I mean, we needed that. I think it's important, regardless of who's going on Friday. We need a good start, and he was aggressive. He was dropping his breaking ball in there for a strike. But that was good for him, and the fact that he went 7 kind of sets us up, much better for the remaining weekend. So he did a tremendous job, did what he needed to do, helped us in more than just winning, but helped us set ourselves up on the mound.
How much has he been able to develop his off-speed stuff in the last couple months?
He works hard at it. He's got a couple different speeds on the breaking ball. We didn't have to go to the changeup much. He's got a good changeup. We just didn't have to use it much. But he did what he needed to do, which was fill the strike zone, pitch aggressively to those guys, and pitch to contact. I thought he did an excellent job.
Lyle and Hunter had big games tonight. What do you think about their performance, especially getting behind Torkelson?
Yeah, and you leave out even Aldretti after that. I mean, it's what we've tried to do is we've tried to build, a lineup that you have to work all the way through, and it could be different guys that hurt you. Trevor Hopper was virtually silent tonight. That's been carrying us a little bit lately, but as you pointed out, other guys, picking up the slack. So Lyle has been, up to this point, has been really, really good in the RBI situations and getting those runs in. Guys are pitching around Torkelson at this point. He's getting on base, and then the other guys do their job, which is driving, knocking them in. But what I like is nobody's trying to do it themselves. They're taking what they're given, they're trusting the guy behind them, and we got a lot of guys that can hurt you. So, but that's the idea.
Xavier had those games against North Carolina and they beat Louisville. Came in with a really high RBI. So, do you think your team was like extra up for the challenge of playing?
Yeah, and I played. I've being from where I'm from, I've got a long history with Xavier. I know that team very well. They're a seasoned team. They got a lot of juniors and seniors, and we talked to the team about that. They've done more winning in college baseball than we have, and we made sure our guys knew that. And we are not taking them lightly. And even the score tonight, baseball, you've been around a long time, means absolutely nothing. We played well tonight. They left some balls up. We swung the bat. Boyd was on, but that has nothing to do with tomorrow's first pitch. So, and Billy, their coach, I know him well. He's played for me. I know his family. They will not roll over. Those guys will be ready to play tomorrow, and we're not taking anything for granted. But yeah, it's a good team. They had a tough 3 road losses, I think, at NC State. Outside that, they played really, really good baseball. So we are not going to take them lightly tomorrow, regardless of the score, because this means absolutely nothing. We will be ready to go with March tomorrow at 6:30.
Was there any thought after 6 to pull Boyd and just kind of limit his pitches, or did you feel comfortable enough with where he's at to let him go into the high
I felt
nights?
we limited his pitches. I mean, when you're throwing a guy once a week, there's only a couple gray hairs in this room. One of them sitting there holding that camera. I mean, back in the day, guys used to throw a lot, but 95 pitch, we want to keep him at that because we're building to get him to the conference weekend, throwing once a week, and he did exactly. He got to the point exactly where we wanted to get to, which was to give us 7 strong and keep it under 100.
You said before that he his past starts, he said that he didn't feel like he was completely there or kind of at his full potential. Do you think tonight he felt that?
It was better. I'm pretty critical, of him. I wasn't happy with the bunt thing. If he keeps his feet and picks it up on a 1-hop, he probably gets an out. I thought that was a little bit of an immature play, but it's coming. It was better. It's better, as you pointed out earlier. It's better than it was last week. But it's kind of, what is he, right? It's 2-0. The guys won 2 baseball games for us, and we're sitting here talking about him not quite being fired on all cylinders yet. So that's a good thing. But he's coming. He's a competitive kid. He wants to win. He wants to do well for the team. He's very coachable, and he's going to work on those finer, those finer things he needs to improve to get it done in what we ultimately want to get it done in and on Pac-12 weekends.
Do pitchers have more confidence now, like Boyd did today, of pitching to contact because of how well the defense has kind of transitioned into this year?
Absolutely, it all flows together. I mean, if I hate referring to the past, but when you think back to guys would be afraid because you're kicking it or whatever. Guys are very confident in the guys playing behind them, and when you're out there and you're pitching aggressively in the zone, the guys are making the plays behind them. Good things happen. You can make a great pitch, still give up a hit. But these guys, I think what you see is you see trust. You see trust in not only their stuff, but also in the guys that are standing in uniform behind them.
We didn't get to talk to you after Fullerton, but was going to Marsh at the end of that game, was that just you wanted to make absolutely sure that as best you could that you could nail that win down there?
Well, yeah, I mean, our mantra, if you will, is we've talked about it. It was kind of a neat little saying about how do you this elephant, which is a good season, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. So, our bite of that elephant was taking care of Fullerton regardless. We were not thinking about Friday night versus Xavier. Our plan going into that game, because we're still of the mindset we were going to play 2 games that week. We were going to play Tuesday and Wednesday, and our pitchers had the mentality of all hands on deck. We went into that game with the idea of closing with Marsh, but the way that thing set up in the 8th inning, that was the close inning. And once we did that, and I think they popped the double if I'm not mistaken, and they ended up getting 4, on us when we had totally dominated that game up to that point. And the next thing you know, you take a 2-run lead in the 9th. I just felt like it was more important to take that one bite of that elephant. Let's try to win this baseball game. We'll figure out Friday night when we get to Friday. And not the perfect world. I think he ended up throwing 40 pitches, so that made our decision to bump him back. But we were going to keep him on Friday had it been just a smooth 10 to 15 pitch inning, which would have been his bullpen setting anyway.
What does it say about your lineup depth that Xavier can employ 4 outfielders versus Torkelson, the very next batter, Bishop it's a home run? Yeah,
well, I saw somebody did it last year. I can't remember who it was. Washington, yeah. So it's a compliment. But it's the data that people have nowadays, even in college baseball, is much more than we've had in the past. So baseball's a game of percentages. So you look at what's the best way to get that guy out. You look at where he hits the baseballs. He's probably not going to hit a lot of weak ground balls to second. So I think it's a good decision on their part, and they're doing what they can. But as I said, the nice part about that is that dude will take a walk here and there. And then Hunter, as you pointed out, is doing a real good job behind him. So I think if he continues to do that, Trevor's getting on base, Spencer's going to get more pitches to hit too.
How rewarding is it for you just to be able to kind of empty out the bench at the end of the game and see some guys get some reps that they might not normally get?
Well, it's always fun because it's not like the only guys practicing are the starters. The other guys come to practice every day. They get out of bed and lift weights. They do all those things. So you want to be able to reward them when you can, but there's the strategic component to it too. Our roster, and I wanted to make that point, I guess. I see some of the articles and we talk about this depleted roster. It's not a depleted roster. If you look at even if we're carrying 35, we're probably only playing 25 to 27 anyway. So it's not a depleted roster. We got a couple guys banged up right now that impact our ability to substitute in a normal way. But what we have, and we'd be doing this anyway, what you try to do in a 56-game season is strategically rest your guys that have been out there a lot. So I'll say it again, we see strength in numbers. And our strength in numbers is we have a smaller roster. We like that. But yeah, it creates this guy's fantasy land out there. They're all begging to, Montoya's wanting to play first, but, and we do that, and we're not doing it out of disrespect to anybody. We're not trying to, we're not doing it to be funny. We're doing it because that's the personnel we have available to us via some injuries that we can rest our guys. So, and those guys are good athletes. They were good athletes in high school, so we don't hesitate to put them in there, truly.
Was your plan to use Tolman in the second Fullerton game?
He was going to start Wednesday. Yeah, he was going to start Wednesday. Yeah, because we feel like he's certainly earned that.
Yeah.
And truthfully, we would have probably started him Tuesday, except he'd gone a little extended on the weekend. So, yeah, he's in the mix. He's throwing the baseball really, really well. We feel comfortable using him in any situation.
And so when Powers only hit 57 tonight, were you disappointed in his performance?
I was, because we talked about it. He was guaranteeing me 75. But it was nice of him to come out. I know he's busy in his busy schedule, and to come out and support our team. I don't know if you saw our little Twitter thing. We're having some fun with that. But I really enjoy him. He's fun, and that was kind of our way to get after it there a little bit. And I actually tried to pull the quote from that movie Major League. It was Ricky, but I tried to do Greggy. So, but yeah, I was disappointed. I gave it to him for the 57 miles per hour. It was not good enough.
That's good.
All right.
Sweet, thank you.
Thank you.